one shot that all point guards must make. They must make this shot. Point guards must make the jump shot on the ball reversal. When the ball is reversed back to you, what's generally happened on a ball reversal? What's happening to the defense?
They're forced to rotate.
The defense is rotating. So if the defense is rotating, you're probably what on a ball reversal? Open. You're probably open. Point guards have to make the jump shot on a ball reversal. And I don't care how good of a shooter y'all are, if y'all don't shoot no shots like per game, if the only shot that you shoot is on ball reversal, you got to be ready to knock that shot down every time the ball is reversed to you. Does that make sense? Like, and that's understanding your role, right? I'm gonna get everybody involved, but on that ball reversal, and I know that the defense is not rotating, and I'm open and I'm set, I'm gonna knock that shot down.
What's going on? What's going on, world? How y'all doing? This is Coach Karvell Bailey. I want to welcome you to another episode of Lunch and Learn. Another episode of Lunch and Learn. I just want to check my mic, everything. Are you all able to hear me? Somebody drop in the chat if y'all able to hear me before we get into it. Are y'all able to hear me? Yes, no, maybe so. All right. So today, what I want to do, and you all can let me know what city and state you checking in from today. And so on today's show, I really want to talk about where's the integrity, right? I really want to talk about where's the integrity. This thing is getting away from us very, very fast in terms of just in the basketball community. And so, people ask, man, why do you always, why are you so passionate? As I'm sharing this out to a few more people, I would recommend that you share this out to somebody, because if it's good enough for you, it'll definitely be good enough to somebody else. But this game of basketball, just like with life, has kind of taken a weird turn, right? Somehow the integrity with this whole game has like vanished. When I first got into the game, when I first got into this game, it was a lot of integrity. Is that Trina? Trina Horde. How you doing, Trina? Where you checking in from, Trina? We got Baltimore, Maryland in the house. Be more in the house. Welcome, Baltimore. Okay, Trina, Tyler, Texas. Okay, Tyler Junior College. Okay, amazing. Coach Trina, or you just work at Tyler? Coach, or you just work at Tyler? And so while we're waiting on Trina, but as I was saying, what's happening is that our young athletes, because the adults that work with our young athletes, a lot of them lack integrity. And a lot of them, well, I'm not going to say have no integrity, but a lot of them lack integrity. And so because they lack integrity, ultimately, they're passing that down to the athlete. And while parents really harp and they want exposure for their student athletes, they really want exposure for their student athletes. But that exposure, they're getting exposure of the coach first, right? So I'm talking to my parents today, right? Understand the first exposure that your athlete is going to get is the exposure of that person that is coaching them or teaching them, training them, whatever the case is. And so please hear me. You want to make sure that that individual that's around your son or daughter is operating in complete integrity. Complete integrity. Because they're passing down some of their beliefs, some of their values, and just part of their mindset, right? If you get coaches, so I remember my second year of coaching, we went on the road, we lost in the playoffs, and I sat down all game. I sat the whole game because actually I got a tech and I had to sit down. But then one of my buddies said, Bailey, what you doing, man? I said, what? He said, man, you can't sit down another game. And I'm like, yeah, I got a tech. He said, yeah, I understand, but like, you got to make sure. He said, your kids respond to your energy as a coach, right? So if they respond to my energy, that means that they were picking up on it, and I wasn't necessarily teaching them that. But had I not had integrity, right? Had I been to the games with my hat broke off, my pants down, or whatever the case may be, the athletes pick up on that. So we have, okay, Trina, okay, all right, head coach 21 years. Yeah, I like that. We have to have people around our kids that have integrity. And I'm not one that like blast coaches, none of that. But I am fed up with our parents being taken advantage of. I am fed up with the coaches that do it right, get no respect. And I'm fed up with these coaches and these people that just have no integrity at all. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And so we're going to first let's talk about Greg McDermitt, right? I talked about him the other day, right? And as the more and more I think about this, and then, I think Creighton handed out a suspension. I'm not sure if it's indefinite or not, and if you haven't had a chance to check out that Lunch and Learn, go back and check that out because it was really informative. The things that parents should look for, right, when their athlete is being recruited. And this goes into the whole integrity thing, right? I'm still having a hard time with how you can say I need everybody on the plantation if you have a little bit of integrity. I'm not saying that he's a bad guy, but I question the integrity. And it's not like a slip, right? What I heard somebody say was a Freudian slip, right? Like something that he was already thinking about. But then to say, "Oh, I know as soon as I said it, I shouldn't have said it," and then I apologize. Well, who knows what the university is going to do? I personally think that he probably won't be back on the sideline this year, but I did say that they would probably suspend him, and they're probably going to suspend him until we forget about it or we move on. And so it brings me to point number one. The reason that coaches don't really have to have integrity these days is because a lot of y'all parents thirsty. I'm gonna just put it out there. A lot of y'all parents thirsty. So a lot of adults can just tell you anything and you'll believe it because you're thirsty. And you're thirsty to get your kid some exposure. But you haven't been thirsty enough to get your kid the proper development so that once they get in a position to get exposure, they won't get exposed. So first and foremost, right? First and foremost, put your kids around people that have integrity. You as the parent, you have to understand that. You have to see that. I don't know how this guy said the word plantation and most of his players are black, right? Blacks on the coaching staff. Again, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't think it was done in integrity, right? I also don't think that the university suspending him is being done with integrity. I think at this point it's like a CYA and everybody is covering their own butt so it won't just drop in their lap. That's personally what I see. But also a lack of integrity, I got to say it's us too, right? I talked about, right, what the coaches need to do, talked about what the parents need to do. But now I want to talk to those people that look like me, those black people. I want to talk to those black and brown people. I want to talk to y'all also today. We sick. We're sick. Literally. We're sick mentally because we don't support our own, but we'll support somebody else that is doing less of a job that our own people are doing. We'll send somebody to a coach that we ain't never heard of, instead of sending them to Coach Horde that's been coaching for 21 years. but we'll send them to somebody that don't look like us. And then we get upset when they do something with us or to us. And then we hoop and holler that we've been done wrong. Well, we sick. We the sick ones. So now this whole overtime, right? This whole overtime thing. And, you know, they got some people on the board, Carmelo and Jay Williams. A few people, what? Fine and dandy. Now they're coming out with this new high school, with this new league that offers high school players the opportunity to forego high school once they get to 16, because this league is going to be for 16 to 18-year-olds. And I'm not sure if people read it, but I try to read things. I try to study, try to get my own interpretation of it and not just listen to what other people say. But this league is going to be, right, between 16 and 18-year-olds, offering them an opportunity, right? And they're going to get paid $100,000 a year. I've seen this, right? And it took me a while to read the article because I didn't want to read the article. Because, again, we're talking about integrity. I see so many people that look like me is in full support of this. Full support. But those were the same people that was shitting on LeVar Ball, for a lack of better words. They was condemning this man. They was condemning him. They was talking about him. Oh, he crazy. He nuts. Right? Oh, what he doing with these kids? He gonna mess up these kids, blah, 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 blah. And I personally was in the airport 3 times. I was in the airport 3 times and seen 3 different teams in Chicago Midway Airport with full travel gear on, book bags, everything, traveling to and from games. I seen that 3 times with my own eyes. 3 times. 3 times. But now we got somebody or organization that's necessarily, and I want to be I ain't worried about being politically correct, but I want to make sure that I use my words right? And I'm not sure like the percentage of what the ethnic makeup is, right? And I'm not anti-white, but I am pro-black, right? And if you got a problem because I'm pro-black, then just unfollow me, right? That's fine. That's fine and dandy. But I'm not going to continue to like sweep this under the rug and we're not going to talk about it. We're going to have this conversation. So now these people from Overtime, they're going to pay these kids $100,000 and everybody is rah-rah. But it's only 30 athletes. It's only 30 athletes. Now, I haven't been able to get into yet. I haven't found out yet how many teams, but they're only choosing 30 athletes. Well, let me make this make sense to you parents that really, really want and talk about exposure. You send your kids to all these, different camps and, different events because so that they can get exposure. Well, the coaches already know who they're coming to see, right? First thing, sidebar, if a coach, and I'm pretty sure that Coach Horde can attest to this, if a head coach walks into a gym, they kind of already know who they're coming to see. Now, if God is on their side that day and they see somebody in the gym that they've never heard of that has a good showing, they're going to pay attention, right? And this is what a lot of coaches sell parents on. Oh, well, it's going to be coaches there and they're going to get exposure. Well, majority of those coaches are on 1 court or maybe 2. Depending on the league, you may be playing in a whole different arena than where the coaches are. I just want to tell you the facts. Again, I've been a head college coach. I just want to tell you the facts. I've been in games with my athletes and 4-year schools come all in the building. And I know of other schools that came for those events because, right, going to be college coaches, but those college coaches are in one location. That event may have had 2 or 3 gyms based on the number of people that they got to come in, right, because they were all sold on the same thing, going to have coaches there. But based on the talent, the coaches is around 1 or 2 courts. So you have to understand that you may not get that exposure. So let's go back to Overtime. So now they're gonna pay 100,000, but they only taking 30 athletes. Well, when the NCAA kind of said that they were taking over kind of so last year, just give you a quick heads up. Last year, pre-COVID, the NCAA came out, right? The actual live periods, it was only 3. It was supposed to be only 3 last year. They canceled all that because of COVID, right? So what happened was they were only going to have 3 live periods, but they were going to have a top 100 camp, which means that they were taking the top 100 players and putting them all in one camp to kind of make it easier on those Division I coaches. And so when I grew up, we had things like the Prairie State games. We had, it wasn't really AAU, but you had to be invited. You had the Adidas camp, you had Future Stars, you had 5-star, but a lot of those camps you had to be invited, right? I went to like Michael Jordan camp, right? But I had to pay for that, and I wasn't worried about being if I'm gonna get exposure, I want exposure by the best dude on the planet. And I got that, right? I was able to get that exposure. Michael Jordan literally followed my team around the whole camp. Why? Because my coach at that particular time was calling me Magic Johnson and had everybody at the camp calling me Magic Johnson. And you got Sean Elliott, BJ Armstrong, King Rice, like all these people were counselors at the camp. So I got my exposure, but I wasn't worried about necessarily at that time from those coaches. But they're only taking 30, not 130. But now they're going to pay them $100,000. So for those same parents that's doing this, your athlete may not be in that 30. But this is the problem that I have with this. Not only that it was LeVar Ball's baby and everybody just crapped on LeVar Ball and us didn't support him, but now we are supporting people that we know nothing about. We didn't really know nothing about LeVar either, but, he was getting it from the mud. Pioneers always get arrows in their back, right? Somebody told me it a long time ago. Say you don't necessarily want to be the first because the first are pioneers. And they got to do all the digging. They got to go through all the mud, and they generally get left with arrows in their back from people stabbing them in their back, shooting them in their back, talking about what they can't do, what's not going to be done. Now we got this group that now they just think that it's going to be just amazing. Well, I got 4 things that I'm going to leave y'all with here that I want to talk about: education, eligibility, social development, and financial literacy. If you give a 16 or 18-year-old the opportunity to come play and they're going to make $100,000, right? They ain't going to school at 16 or 18. Now we're in the world of virtual learning at this point, right? A lot of kids aren't going to school. And I see them every day, right? I got a class in a few minutes. A lot of kids just ain't coming to school. And it's sad. It's going to be the education gap is about to just widen huge because it's about to be a lot of dropouts. It was a lot of athletes, student athletes that was waiting on AAU and those street agents to tell them, hey, wait until the circuit open, and then Corona hit. It wasn't no circuit. You got a lot of athletes that just aren't in school and ain't playing basketball no more because they was waiting on that promise. Never happened. So now this group is going to take 30 people and they're going to pay them $100,000. But now you got a 16-year-old. Yeah, he may get $100,000, but he's not going to school. So now at the end of the day, because if they're paying you $100,000, you're an employee. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. If you don't go to work, you don't get that $100,000. So, and I'm not sure what the education setup is, but you got a job. So you need to be, so what's more important? If I'm paying you $100,000, what's more important? What's more important? You going to school or you going where I need you to go? Because I'm paying you $100,000. Right? They ain't going to be in school. So what's going to happen to their education? Now the education gap is going to widen. And now, hey, I ain't the brightest bulb in the box, but I guarantee you 95% of those 30 athletes are black. I bet you that. I bet you 30% of them athletes, 95% of them 30 gonna be black. So now we're gonna have 90% of 30 more student athletes that is not being properly educated. Regardless of what you think about the public school system or the education system, they won't be having no school. 1. 2, now they get paid $100,000. Ain't no more eligibility. Ain't no more eligibility. So now, let's say something happens, you can't play. Injury, just, things that take place, right? But you can't play. Well, now that team owner is going to want to return on their investment. If I'm paying you, but now if you can't play, I don't know if I need you. Because right now, I'm getting you as an asset, right? You got to understand, and this to my 4th point, financial literacy, but they don't understand financial literacy, right? So I'm going to bounce around for a minute because I want to make this point. You give them $100,000. You give a family $100,000 that ain't had $100,000. They waiting to get $100,000. Records show that 50% of NBA players are bankrupt within the first 3 to 4 years after they retire. And they're making millions. So you get somebody 100,000 and they don't have financial literacy. What you think gonna happen to that 100 G's? And they paying them out throughout the course of the season. But then what if they get, let's say, injured or hurt and they can't play? Well, now I'm paying you, right? I'm paying you that 100,000, but you bringing me in 4-5 times that amount. So now that athlete is an asset to the company. But on the financial books, that athlete is a liability. I'm gonna say that again because it might have went past some people's head. They're paying that athlete, so they're looking at that athlete as an asset to the company. So you got to produce. Assets produce. Does that make sense? So you got to produce. But on the actual P&L sheet, profit and loss, that athlete is looked at as an expense because they got to pay it. And what are businesses to do? To cut their expenses. So does that mean that every athlete of them 30 gonna get $100,000? Now we talking about integrity, right? So now you got all these people geeked up about, ooh, my kid. Now you got a whole lot of kids that's probably gonna start being disrespectful to their high school coaches, because high school coaches already get the short end of the stick because the AAU coaches are respected for whatever reason more than the high school coaches. So now the high school coaches are gonna get like pooped on a little bit more, disrespected, especially from those guys that already think, man, I'm doing you a favor by just playing on your team. And then because some coaches, just may not have integrity themselves, they're going to just roll with it. Okay, whatever. But then what about, because I'm paying you, lack of financial education, you don't understand that if you do anything wrong, social media wise, right? Just in the public eye, whatever, because now you're representing a business, not just you. Most athletes don't understand they are a business. They don't understand that. So they work for a business, right? And now based on what they do, they can lose their opportunity. So it goes back to social development. Most athletes, and if Coach Horde is still on here, she can attest, right? Most athletes go to junior college not because they're bad kids. They go to junior college because they need more development. They either need athletic development, they need social development, they need academic development, they need physical development, right? Or they need emotional development. But they're in junior college to get that extra development, right? So that 16 and 18-year-old probably not going to be the best developed individual. But we paying you $100,000 because of what you can do, not of who you are. Does that make sense? So therefore, people sign these contracts and they forego their eligibility. They forego their education. They don't have proper social, emotional, physical, mental, academic skill development. They may not be properly financially educated, but this is the best thing since sliced bread. because this is an opportunity. Because the NBA ain't paying, or the NCAA ain't paying us, so we might as well go to somebody and just let them exploit us in a different way. Well, the NCAA is paying you. They paying for your education, and because most people and most parents are caught up with that money, they miss the whole education. They miss the real part, the real money, the education. So what happens to that kid that's 16, but then they don't play next year? Or what happens to that kid that plays 16 that's foregone his eligibility because now he's a professional. He's a professional because he gets paid. He's not an amateur no more. But now somebody come in that's a little bit better. Same thing on the college level, right? Scholarships are year to year. You got to earn your scholarship. You got to make me want to give you a scholarship. Why should I give you a scholarship? Why should I bring you back? But now it ain't no turning around. At least in college, you can transfer. They can go to the portal. Where they going to go now? You see what I'm saying about this whole banana in the tailpipe? And ain't nobody really paying attention to it. But now what if next year I don't want you? Or what if now something happens and you cause us to get rid of you from this league, banish you from this league? Now, you ain't got no more eligibility. And then here's the kicker about this whole thing. It says if an athlete does not want to then go to the NBA, if an athlete does not want to go to the NBA, what athlete don't want to go to the NBA? Right? But I want you to listen to the language. Right? I want you to listen to the language. It says if an overtime elite athlete chooses not to pursue an NBA career, the league will pay them up to $100,000 to go towards college tuition. I might be a fool, but one thing I ain't is a new fool. One thing I'm not is a new fool. So let's just look at this language for a minute, right? The athletes, it said, if an athlete chooses to not pursue the NBA. Most athletes don't really choose not to pursue. Most athletes don't really have an option, right? I can choose even at this age to pursue the NBA, but if it's not practical, not realistic, and even though I can still play, can help some team, but it's probably not realistic. So if I choose not to play, okay. So what does that mean? I just say I'm not going to play it. Or I hear, man, like you can go to all this stuff, right? Like, and some of the stuff you got to have like on the NBA level, like you got to have a private invite. Private invites, even like Portsmouth, private invite. So, I want to go. What am I going to do? Just go to the door and say, hey, I'm here, Coach Karvell Bailey. I want to like work out for the Chicago Bulls today. You'll be like, get the hell out of my face. Get out, get from in front of my door, man. So if they choose not to pursue the NBA, then the league will pay them up to $100,000 to go towards college tuition. Up to $100,000. Up to. So that means rightfully so I can give you $1 to go towards your college tuition. Rightfully so. Because I said up to $100,000. That's just how I see it, right? So I don't know. I'm just tired of parents being manipulated. I'm tired of parents being used. I'm tired of athletes being misinformed. I'm tired of athletes being uneducated. And this is what I use this platform to do, to come on here and teach, right? Really like to come on here and teach. I'll be doing it even this weekend, right? So College Ready Conference, I'll be doing it this weekend, right? I'll be teaching student athletes exactly like what student success looks like, right? What student athlete success looks like. And student athlete success is not always success And March Madness when you're hitting the game-winning shot. Student athlete success is in August or July when you got to be on campus on time, right? Or in May or June when you got to stay after when everybody else is going home, right? Or when you got to go to the library to print your paper out or do some right? Student athlete success. So I'm in the same reason why my company, Bless the Ball Skill Development Academy and Bless the Ball Consulting Group, that's why we help high school athletes get recruited, even if they're not 5-star athletes. This league will only be for 30 5-star athletes. So what's going to happen to everybody else in that process? That's Haran, hoot, and all that. What's going to happen? Preach this. People trust the Chiefs more than the coaches of character and integrity because it appears they are winners. When thirsty, everything you drink might not be what's best for you. Kool-Aid is not. Hey, all Kool-Aid is not good. You know, some people say the red Kool-Aid, but depending on how much sugar you put in that thing. You know what I'm saying? You drink enough Kool-Aid thinking it's good for you. You know, as my kids say, mess around with, diabetes or something, man, and that is not a funny thing, but that's a great point, Coach. Like, you got to, and again, I'm talking about us. We sick as a people because we just let people tell us anything and then we believe it because it's a lot of blind people out here. No disrespect, but it's a lot of people that have no sight or no vision that's trying to lead other people. That's just how it is. Corn, my main man here. Eric, what's up? Eric, my man, Eric Saunders is in the house. Coach Horace say, get off those toes. Louder for the people. For those in the back of the bus with the slave mentality. Absolutely, Coach. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, brother minister. So Corner just gave me a new name because I talked about this earlier in the post. And so I just had to come on here and like really, really verbally say it. So Corn gave me a new name today. My brother Romeo, what up? Yeah, coach. So listen, this is coming from a head coach of 21 years. They looking for both diamonds and pearls. Now, guess what? This ain't no Prince song. I don't know if y'all know diamonds and pearls. Right. I'll want to date myself, right? But you got to understand what coach is talking about. Diamonds and pearls. Do you know how diamonds and pearls are constructed, manufactured, found, figured out? Right? Think about it. Right? Think about it. Sometimes you get that diamond in the rough. Right? Sometimes them pearls stand out, right? Our vice president, what they say, chucks and pearls, right? Had everybody going finding them pearls. What everybody want. But it's some diamonds. But in order to get to a diamond, you gotta be to get through that coal, right? I used to give my players the words of the day every day. And I would give them coal and diamond together because they go together. On the outside, nobody want to touch that coal because it's dirty, it's black, it's nasty, whatever, may mess your clothes up, right? All that hard work that got to be done. Don't nobody really want to do it. But once you do all that, and once you get to the core of that coal, you almost got a priceless gem. So that's what Coach talking about. All right. My man, Coach D, say people don't want the truth, man. They want to hear you, but still don't understand. Hey, Coach, I'm going to keep talking, man. You already know this is what we do. And I'm at the point in my life, I'm at the point of my career, especially with our Hoops Mastery program, right? You go check out our free case study video, BeTheRightRecruit.com. I have to keep talking because those people, right? And Coach D. Shannon, another head college coach, right? Neither him or I work for an institution anymore, but both of us are former head college coaches. And we used to always say, man, right? It's a difference in teacher and coaches, right? And if you missed that segment, go back and watch one of the lunch and learns, right? And I got it titled, but it's a difference in trainer, teach, and coach. But what Coach Shannon and I used to always say is that we really teach our athletes and develop them. We used to play against some people, just get all the good talent, and then they just get them out there. And then we would beat their brains in. And them coaches hated to see us coming. Because while you got all the good athletes, they mental midgets. They can't think the game. They don't know the game, and they don't play hard. And we're going to beat them every time. So, Coach, that's what we're going to do, man. We're going to keep going. Yeah. What's your input about people saying times change and even the fake exposure is the new avenue, the rankings, the appearances at camps, etc.? So if y'all have never had the opportunity, right? So it's on now. Literally it's on now. Sierra Cannon season from last year. I recommend it, right? I recommend this. It's a 6-part series. I recommend this to any coach, to any parent, to any athlete, especially. Watch this 6-part series. Regardless how old your athlete is, how old you are, I want you to watch this. And to that point, right, to your point, Dave, Sierra Cannon's point guard that now plays for Kentucky, BJ, said when they asked him about rankings, he said, man, I just want to make it to the league. He said, that's my goal. He said, my goal is to not be ranked. He said, I don't care about rankings. I want to get to my goal. That was worth the 6 episodes right there for me. That statement by a teenager was worth the 6 episodes. And when I tell you that the production was amazing and done by, LeBron James and his crew, amazing. Go check it out. I don't even know if I don't even have my remote in front of me for my TV, but I can't think of the name of it, right? But it's on, right? Right now, just go look up Sierra Cannon documentary, whatever, and go watch it. He said, now this guy's at Kentucky right now, but he said rankings don't matter to me. So if I can break down your statement, right? Times have changed, and basketball is totally different. Basketball is totally different because basketball is all about more the finesse and not necessarily I would say the intelligence, right? So times have changed, and as coaches, we have to be able to adapt, but not give in, if that makes sense, right? We have to understand that the game is changing, so we don't want to be dinosaurs, but we can't just give in and say, okay, I'm gonna be of the world. I ain't gonna get to preaching today, right? But right, you could be in the world, but not of the world, if that makes sense. So you could be in the game, but not of the game. I don't attest to a lot of this new stuff that's going on. This 0 step, and also, am I supposed to just go back and just okay? I don't get into all that. I was about to go somewhere, right? Because I was about to say, so I was supposed to just forget everything that I learned. But in a lot of things with education, we've been taught differently too, right? But this whole 0 step and all, like the travels and all that, like, no, that's not basketball to me. Regardless who came up and figured out something later, I ain't into all that. So fake exposure, definitely fake exposure. And I talked about that earlier, right? You go to a gym, just because college coaches are there, that don't mean they're going to pay attention to you, right? And parents are more concerned with exposure than development, which is wrong. Because again, you looking for exposure, they're going to get exposed, right? Camps. I don't think camps are bad. Really, I don't think camps are bad, but you got to know why you go into a camp, right? And I'm not going to talk about it today, but it don't even have to be these elite camps. Listen, if I put the word elite, right, like I can say that I'm starting an elite team and I got trash on my team, but because I tell them that they're elite, this is what I'm talking about, the whole integrity, right? So people put elite and all that, and people just go crazy over it, which is nuts. All right, David. Yep. You from Texas. Yep. Coach say and interpret that. Yep. I'm speaking on an MS level. What does that mean, D? MS level. Ain't no such thing as real rankings for MS ball. The number is irrelevant. What does MS mean? Help me out. on Amazon Prime. Okay, Amazon Prime for those who want to know. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. What is MS though? What is MS? Anybody know? Because I'm thinking Mississippi. But what is MS? What does MS mean? Somebody help me out. But so again, I'm gonna drop. Hold on one second, y'all. So I'm about to drop. Let's see. Oh, middle school. Okay. Middle school. All right. I got it. I was thinking Mississippi. I'm like, MS, what is that, man? Okay. Middle school. Troy, thanks, man. Mind blowing, huh? It's coaches selling middle school parents the same. It is. That's where they start. That's where they start. Right? So I'm going to tell y'all this, and then I'm going to let y'all go. Somebody told me a while ago, and this is when I really understood that the integrity in the game was going away.
Hey, Mr. Bailey, I'm here.
But I was told that there's big money in bad basketball. I'm going to say it again. Somebody told me, they said, hey, man, it's big money in bad basketball. I said, damn, y'all think like that, huh? That's why I say I started to hate the game that I love because of what it stood for. And I'm going to do my best to change it myself, me and my team, me and my people. And that's why we do what we do, and we help people develop into the person that they need to be to get a college scholarship. Right? So if you haven't checked out my case study video, go check out my case study video. Be the right recruit.com, right? Be the right recruit.com. Go check that out. And other than that, so y'all hear my kids calling me, right? So I got to go because they calling me, man. Yep, Rakeem, I appreciate it, man. Yep, so y'all go check it out. Again, y'all get registered. Y'all get registered for this conference tomorrow, right? If y'all want to hear me speak, y'all want to hear me go in, this is what I do here for free for y'all, right? But imagine when somebody invests their time and their money into something, what I'm going to get. So y'all already know it's going to be crazy, amazing. And if your athlete wants to get a version of our or get the video recordings of our 3 weeks of our Mamba Mentality Masterclass, just reach out to me. Coach Horde, send me an inbox. Let's stay in contact. I got a coaching mastermind coming up too, but can help one another, definitely moving forward. All right, y'all. This is Coach Karvell Bailey. As I always say, keep striving for the top because it is crowded as hell at the bottom. Y'all be cool.
So many teams their team morale is going down because they aren't running the floor, and I'm talking about on defense. So many teams are getting beat back on defense to where before they know it, they're down 8, 10, 12 points. Teams that make runs on you, generally those runs are made in transition or fast breaks. Teams don't generally make complete basketball runs in a half-court set. Teams really don't make runs strictly in a half-court set. Those runs build up momentum due to teams not getting back and running the court, running the floor on defense. So now they're able to get an easy shot. Now they're able to get a quick transition bucket. Now that confidence and that momentum is building up. Now they're able to, bang down a three. Now, they get going, the crowd get rolling, the other coach like, timeout. And then when that other coach do that, now the momentum is that much greater. Does that make sense? So if teams really just run the floor on defense, they'll solve half their problems. If you can get back on defense and stop a team's ability to get easy buckets, well, now that team has to think. You see how everything goes back to this? Now that team has to think. Now they have to call that play. They have to run that play. They have to try to figure it out, but they have to try to figure it out on the fly, as opposed to now they just playing off instinct and just off reaction because that momentum is building up and now they just totally charged up. So run the court, run the floor on defense.